Hey, welcome to Mama Mandala. I'm Hagar and I'm grateful to have this moment with you because everyone gets stuck sometimes. Things don't always move the way that we want them to. Things feel frozen and ossified. Even in society, we have times like now when things are a little rigid, where the minds are not as open as we would like them to be, where perspectives get ossified and stuck in one place, where we're unable to see one another, to see another point of view. And so, this practice today is an invitation to unwind a little bit, to untangle some of the places that feel like they are in a knot, where movement is less possible or not possible. And as we move our body, this is an invitation to move our minds as well, to notice the places where we have gotten too sure of ourselves, to notice the places where we have stopped receiving more of what's possible and have gotten too sure that things are moving in one direction and that that's the only truth. In the places where we have stopped accepting one another's ways of being and thinking. So bring yourself to all fours, to your hands and your knees, and spread your fingers wide. Root your hands into the floor like you mean it, because being in that more melty, flowy mindset doesn't mean we disconnect ourselves from what matters to us. As your hands root down, move your hips a little side to side. Being in a more open space inside of us, or inviting ourselves to cultivate a more open space and fluid space inside of us, doesn't mean we don't yoke ourselves to our values, to our core of being. Circle the hips around. And being in a circle is an invitation to both move, but also there's a recursive quality to it. We're moving in circular ways. We're moving in ways that make us meet where we were before. Go ahead and change directions. And if we're seeing something again, if we're arriving in what seems to be the same place, we are hopefully bringing to it some things we've gathered along the way. So it's not actually exactly the same. Bring yourself to center and inhale, reach your hips back and your chest forward with an inhale, and with an exhalation, looking towards your navel and round your back. And as you move your spine like that, press your hands into the earth deeply. Inhale, hips back, chest forward. Root down through the inner edges of your hands and the tips of your fingers. Exhale, round your back. Your spine moves like waves. Inhale, hips back, chest forward. Exhale, look in towards your navel and round your back. And sometimes yoga, we're told, is a stopping of the movement of consciousness. Inhale, bring yourself to the space between cat and cow. This is from the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Exhale, reach up and back into downward facing dog. And I'm not gonna tell you that it's not important to quiet shit down sometimes and arrive in a more grounded and more clear-minded place. I'm not speaking against that. Inhale, bring your knees back down to the floor. And exhale, take your big toes to touch and take your knees wide apart. Bring yourself into child's pose. Inhale, reach your chest forward. Come back to all fours, hands and knees. And exhale, reach up and back, downward facing dog. We're gonna do that a couple more times. Inhale, bring your knees to the floor, look forward, reach your hips back. Exhale, go into child's pose where you're a little bit more rounded. Inhale, back to all fours, hands and knees. And exhale, back into downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. All along the way, your hands are rooted into the earth. Inhale, knees down, hips back, chest forward. Exhale, big toes touch, knees wide apart. Child's pose, forehead to the earth. Inhale to all fours to your hands and your knees. And exhale, stretch up and back. Downward facing dog. Right leg up, deep breath in. Bend the knee, open up your hip. Lift your left arm bone, lift your left hip. So make space in the side of the body, right where the tendency is to collapse. Right there, make space, because there's more than one way. There's more than just one thing. Reach your leg back, deep breath in. So we're making space for more than just our view. Exhale. Foot to the outside of your hand, left knee down to the floor. Reach your right arm over your head toward the left. So you're stretching the whole right side of your body. And if you need to, you can move your left hand a little bit more to the left as well. Externally rotate your left upper arm so the head of the left arm bone is rooting into the socket as you stretch the right arm over the head and open up through the front of your body. Bring your right hand to the inside of your right leg. Plant your hands. Walk your left hand a little bit more in if you've moved it. And exhale, stretch back into downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Left leg up, deep breath in. Press the hands down. Exhale, bend the knee and open up your hip. You can always put your hands on a wall or on a chair or on a couch instead of being with a weight of your body bearing on your hands. Lift the right arm bone, lift the right hip. So make space right where collapse wants to happen, because maybe right now in the world we're feeling so tight that there's a feeling of collapsing and giving up. So lengthen, open, lift, reach your leg back, deep breath in, and exhale, bring your foot outside of your hand, right knee to the floor. I want to emphasize how important, I at least think it is, stretch your left arm over the head and perhaps walk your right hand to the right a little bit more and rotate your right upper arm externally so that the right head of the arm bone roots into the socket. I want to emphasize how important it is not that when we open our minds, I'm not talking about giving up on the values that you have or disconnecting yourself from your core. Like right now, this openness will tend to disconnect you from your core on the physical level. So draw the sides of the ribs towards each other. Strengthen the core. Draw the front of your hip bones towards each other. Strengthen your lower abdominal region so that this strength here holds the openness. And then bring your left hand down. Does that make sense? Also in your life. Downward facing dog with an exhalation. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale and bring your knees down to the floor. Press the hands down. So root into what matters. Exhale, hips down, chest forward and up. Broaden through your collarbones. So how do we make space for somebody else's opinion, somebody else's viewpoint without disconnecting ourselves from what matters to us? You can move your cobra a little side to side as you contemplate this. What are the places that are red lines? Because there are places that must be red lines, like places where somebody tries to take away the rights of somebody else. Exhale, downward facing dog because of gender, because of race. Deep breath in. That's a red line. Exhale, walk your hands back toward your feet, Uttanasana, and please bend your knees. If the backs of your legs are really tight and holding this pose is too difficult, you can bend your knees as you rest your upper body over your legs. Inhale, look forward, halfway up. And if straightening the legs feels good, go ahead. Exhale, fold back in. Inhale, look forward. So opening ourselves up doesn't mean disconnecting ourselves from who we are. Exhale, fold back in. One more time. Inhale and look forward. Making room for more perspectives than our own. Exhale, fold back in. Doesn't, shouldn't, must not take us away from what is valuable and important, particularly ground through the legs. Inhale, Circle the arms up. Bend your knees on your way up so your hips are back, chest is forward, particularly in the places. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart where we care about making room for more than ourselves. Does that make sense? So those are the places we don't want to disconnect ourselves from what matters, because what matters is a wider inclusivity. Inhale and reach your arms up. Grab the right wrist with your left hand and side bend over to the right side. So again, the whole left side of your body, is opening, it's stretching. It's stretching so that we stretch our mind and teach ourselves to see more than we see when we stand where we stand. Inhale back up to center. And grab the right wrist with your left hand and exhale, side bend over to the left. But as we stretch, the openness gets more expansive when we ground ourselves into what matters. So root both of your feet down as you pull on the right wrist and stretch yourself to the left. Ground with meaning. Ground with care. Back up. Inhale. Exhale and release your arms. Separate your feet a little bit wider. Bend your knees a little bit and swing your upper body side to side. And if there are places where you feel in your life, things got a little more stuck and less fluid than you want it to be, how you're moving your body right now is able to bring a little bit more liquidity, a little bit more freedom to the places that feel super tight and constricting. Let your arms dangle. Bring yourself back to center and shake your wrists, shake your hands. If there's stuff in you that feels really stuck, maybe even if it's things that feel toxic, repetitive patterns of thinking, shake it out a little bit. Shake your legs and your ankles. We know that it's not gonna all come out, and we know, shake your hips a little bit. It's not all gonna be resolved right in this moment, in this practice. But this is a way to start. It's a way that we can come back to it. Inhale and reach your arms up high and revisit this movement, this practice. Exhale, fold forward. Bring your fingertips down to the floor. Touch the ground. Inhale, look forward. When we feel like we're ossified again, exhale, walk your hands forward and come back into downward facing dog, because rigidity creates a more brittle kind of a way of being. Inhale, bring your knees down to the floor, and then bring your hips back to your heels. If you can do this with your toes tucked under, great. If not, point your feet and sit back on your heels. And if that's also not so good for your knees, you can put your hips on the ground and put your feet in front of you. We're gonna lean the right hand back and stretch the left arm over the head. And with an exhalation, bring yourself back to center. And inhale, left hand back, right arm over the head. And exhale, bring yourself back to center. As you go, one more time to the right, draw the sides of the ribs towards each other as you lean yourself back. We're not losing our core when we open up our hearts back to center with an exhalation. Lean to the left and reach your right arm over the head. Again, sides of the ribs pull in, front of the hip bones pull together so the core is strong as the heart opens up. Exhale, back to center. Stand on your knees. This might be too much for you, in which case you're gonna do what you just did. So stretching back this way, seated back on your heels. Or put your left hand behind your head right now and press your head back into your head back into your hand. And with an inhalation, reach with your right hand toward your right heel. So it's a little leaning back, and lift up with your chest and take your hips forward. And then inhale, bring yourself back up. You have your hand behind your head to support. Bring your right hand behind your head and then lean your left hand into your left heel. Toes tucked under will make the distance shorter. So you're leaning back, take your hips forward, lift your chest up, press your head back into your head. Head into hand. Try to say that a few times. Inhale, come up. And one more time. Left hand behind your head, right hand to your right heel, lean back. If you lean too far back without taking your hips forward, actually, it's going to be tighter on your lower back. So extend the distance between your hip bone and your arm bone like we did in downward facing dog, and hand behind the head to support your head, support your vision, support your opening. And then inhale, hips go forward, chest goes up, and then the head comes to come up. And then left hand to left heel, right hand behind head. Use your hand to lengthen the back of your head, to lengthen the base of the skull towards the crown of your head. Extend the distance between your left hip and your left arm bone. So hips go forward, chest goes up. Lean your head back into your hand. Arm bones back. This is not, don't do the deepest back bend here, just a little openness. And then to come up, hips go forward, chest goes up and forward to bring yourself, then the head, and then sit back down. Hands on your thighs for a moment. If you can, sit back on your heels. If you can't, bring your hips to the floor and sit in a comfortable seated position. Hands on your thighs, eyes closed. Slow breath into your belly. Slow breath out. Slow, deep Ujjayi breath. Slow breath into your belly. Slow breath out. Expand your belly as you breathe in. Make it really big, like a balloon. And then let it relax as you exhale. Bring yourself to all fours, hands and knees, and with an inhalation, reach your left arm to the left. And with an exhalation, slide your left arm underneath your right and come up high on the fingertips of your right hand. So your fingertips of your right hand root into the earth and draw the armpit back. So the right scapula, the right shoulder blade, goes more towards the spine. As you twist, twist your chest to the right, but with the ribs and with the hip bone on the right side, resist and pull toward the left. One of the things I've been really thinking a lot about and writing about, so you can check out the writings on Substack and on my website. I'll leave a link for you in the description of the video, is that creativity is necessary right now for our well-being, for not only surviving but thriving this difficult phase in human history. Inhale, bring yourself back to center. And move your hips a little side to side as you exhale. And creativity needs us to keep moving and twisting. Inhale, right arm to the right. And with an exhalation, slide your right arm underneath your left. Come up behind the fingertips of your left hand. And creativity also requires resistance, because when you're stuck, a little bit of friction can help untangle the knot. So if you right now bring a little bit more emphasis to the strength of your core by moving the left hip bone towards the right, the left side of the ribs towards the right, as your chest opens and reaches to the sky to the left, then you're doing something that creates a little bit more conflict in your body, and through that, a deeper opening. Strength is acquired through this. Inhale, untwist, bring yourself back to center, and with an exhalation, bring yourself into child's pose. Big toes to touch, knees wide apart, forearms to the earth, forehead to the earth. Breathe. Feel the earth beneath you. Feel its support. And the earth is this element and presence that we invoke as a way to access solidity and stability. But the earth spins, the earth cycles, the earth has gone through massive continuous transformation, and we're a part of her ever transforming nature. Just like the earth, we're cyclical beings. Just like the earth, we are a continuum of change and transformation. If you have time right now, lie on your back and rest in Shavasana for as long as you can. And if you don't, I will say goodbye to you now. And I am so grateful that you had this moment with me. I can't wait to connect to you again. Please put a like on this video if you like it, share it with your people, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, subscribe to my mailing list over on mamamandala.com, subscribe to our Substack, subscribe, because I want to stay in touch and I want us to create this massive creative shift together, because the world needs us to tap into our most deep art and heart. So I'll see you soon and stay in touch. Thank you. Namaste.